Okay, here is the movie. Thank you for your patience. But we still need to wait for the menu. So why there's no sound? Okay, there's no sound. Okay, here is a worker. One day he find a grotto, and then he walk down the street, and that's what happened. So probably things goes on like that. And we'll come back to the movie. So just give you some ideas. So there's an intellectual have my book back. One of the Hong Kong intellectuals once say that time is always by our side, and this was said during the Queen's Pier protest, and behind it is an old Hong Kong landscape. So how about space? What's interesting about these two images is that actually we build more and more buildings. What's inside the buildings and what's the definition of these new built spaces? There are many offices shopping malls, grand apartments, housing estates. I mean, these places like office. Actually, most of the people inside the office, they're taking orders. So actually, we are creating more space about taking orders. Although time is by our side, and so this presentation is called Reclaim Our Streets, and I think let's do something. Do some analyze about this image. I think this is also a metaphor of what's happening in our street or our public space. We see the council, but we can't see the people inside the council. We see the ordinary people on the street kneeling down. We see that between the council and the people, there are police and fence and red light. So what is a street? When Paul asked me to give a talk, then I think, let's go back to some history. Me too is an image person, I don't know much about theory. And let's look at these old streets. I know it's a little bit old, but I intended to create a more dramatic feeling. I don't know much about architecture, but I think the old streets, one of the good things about old streets is that it is not there is not a hard edge between the building and the open space around it. There is some transitional space that people can communicate with the shopkeepers inside, and the neighborhood open their window, having their clothes outside for drying. And of course, one thing is good is that the height of the building is much shorter than nowadays buildings. This will let the sunlight shine on your face. And now what is placed on our faces is the skyscrapers' shadows. And this is the old street. This is the new street that we're having. It's actually a shopping mall. It's called the Lineigai, which in Chinese suggests that this is a street. Okay, so this is new street, which an extreme case about how street is being privatized and being commercialized. And there's I forget who the intellectual scholar saying that that's also talking about we live in interior space. We have no open air, and we read the tendency of having more interior space, tunnels, pathways with cover, bridge, and it's quite 2D, and you can go either that way or that way, go forward or backward. There's no left side or right hand side, and what's wrong with it is this kind of space design is actually directing you to somewhere. This space is kind of meaningless. You won't stay there. You can see there's no public chair, furniture thing. I feel like this should be the future of our streets.